Good evening, and good evening. This is day number X in quarantine here, or whatever it is. I don't know. Anyways, let's get down to business, and we are going to talk about these three letters. What is this? TTL. So today we are going to talk about TTL. What it is, how it works, and I posted a question actually at my profile and also at VUEGRAPHY, and I asked that this function TTL belongs to which part of the camera? Like, does it belongs to the camera, or it belongs to the lens, or it belongs to the flash, or it belongs to the aperture, or whatever, right? So today we are going to solve this mystery. What is TTL? It's very easy if you if you're able to understand how the physics works, and I'm going to show you guys what it is. Most of the people think that TTL is basically belongs to flash, which is not the case. TTL is not the function of the flash. Flash is always a dumb entity. It has nothing to do. It just follow the commands whatever camera give to it. So how TTL works? Let's dive in. Okay. So let's suppose this is a camera. All right. This is the lens. This is the sensor. I am highlighting the sensor in yellow part. Okay, this is the sensor. All right, and I'm making flash kind of a blue. This is flash. Okay, just rough sketch, just to make you understand how it works. And it is a daylight. Okay, the sun is high in the sky. Okay, and we have a person standing, a model. Like, you can understand, that's a model. All right, so how TTL works? What happens is, in this kind of a scenario, in broad daylight scenario, when you tell the camera, okay, shoot the flash in TTL mode, so you are going to do the following steps. You have to put the flash. Let me show you guys. Okay. This is the flash. All right. Okay. And this is where you tell the camera that, okay, operate in TTL mode, which you can see over here. So you think that, okay, that is the TTL stuff. That belongs to a camera. Oh, sorry, that belongs to a flash because it's reflect over here, right? That's not the case. I'll show you guys in a minute that how TTL is not the part of the flash. Okay? Next. So you put this flash on the camera and enable it into the TTL. All right, as you can see, it's TTL. So whatever the zoom you are adjusting, whatever the aperture you are putting onto the camera, flash automatically picks it, put into the calculation and fire the power accordingly, right? That is as simple as this. But let me show you how it works over here. You put the flash on the camera. All right, you dialed a certain shutter speed, let's say 1/500 of a second. You wrote certain aperture, let's say f8. You put the ISO 100, right? I hope you can see that. So as you can see, I put shutter speed 1/500 of a second, f8, ISO 100. Sounds good. Sunlight. but because the sun is behind the model, so model is going to be backlit, right? So I have to use a flash in order to expose the model face. That's typical scenario, right? Love with your drawing. My drawing sucks, brother. My drawing sucks. I'm just trying to put an idea. So I put the flash into the TTL board. I dial these values 1500, f8, ISO 100, and I click. When I click, there are multiple things happens. I'm going to show you step by step what those multiple things are. The sun is behind the model. Models is all backlit. You cannot see model face. But by using the TTL, the flash is going to fire, adjust the power accordingly, and expose the model. Alright, let me show you how. You click on the camera and following things happen. What happened is flash fire a pulse. Let me draw that pulse in green. So a flash fire a pulse to a model like that, and it goes into through the lens onto the sensor. Man, my drawing really sucks. So it fires the pulses. The pulse goes and exposes the subject. It goes back to the lens onto the sensor. And what it tells the sensor it tells the sensor that, okay, I am seeing that there is a bright sunny day. Alright. I am seeing the model is kind of model is there. I have 500 shutter speed, I have f8, I have ISO 100. So it takes these value, whatever reflects from the scene through the lens onto the sensor. It takes these value, all of these value, and also these reflected rays, and it puts over into a calculation, into a blender. What that blender does, what this blender does is, it basically take these value, EXIF data that you dial in, and also the reflected, whatever the luminosity that you are getting, puts into the blender, and it makes the blender. So okay, once the camera processor makes this value, it comes up with a certain calculation, but before that calculation, camera processor, what it observes that, okay sir, you fire the pulse, it reflected back to the sensor. I can see that it's a bright sunny day, right? And you have the user, the idiot photographer, dial these values, right? So put that into a blender and see what happens. It comes up with a value. The value says, well, he dialed this kind of shutter speed, this kind of aperture, this kind of ISO, and it's bright sunny day. What flash you do? This is what camera telling to the sensor, to the flash, that the bright sunny day it is. You don't have to fire too much power. You have to reduce your power, okay? And you have to fire after a certain amount of time. Why? Because the camera shutter speed is 1/500 of a second, which is kind of a high speed sync. So what camera is trying to tell the shutter speed, two things. First, the power and time. So camera telling the flash, okay, I have calculated, you have to do two things. You have to, flash, listen to me. You have to fire this much amount of power, which is low power because it's already bright sunny day, and you have to fire in high speed sync because it's 500 of a second, which is kind of a pulsing, puck, 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 small pulses. We'll talk in the next session how it works. So flash take these values and it says to the camera, alright sir, I obey you, and I will fire the reduced power with X amount of time and I will expose. And then the final exposure happens. You see that image and you say, oh man, the model is still underexposed. Why? It's TTL. It's supposed to adjust the power accordingly. But you are not understanding the mechanism. The TTL works on the exposure of the scene. The exposure is already bright. So the TTL function telling the flash to reduce the power. So this is where you have to increase the power. You have to increase the power of the flash. So you dial plus flash exposure compensation. You dial +1, +2, blah blah blah. Okay, once you dial the plus exposure compensation value, you are taking a shot one more time. Same thing happens. It takes a value. It takes the certain the EXIF data. In addition to that, it takes the exposure compensation this time. It takes this value, also going to tell the flash, well, you have to fire again. But this idiot, that photographer, he is dialing +2 stop of a flash exposure. So you have to double the power. You listening to me? Well, the flash said, alright sir, I will double the power this time. Because you are telling me. So it fires. This time model exposed properly. You say voila. That's it. I don't have to do anything. So that's how flash operates in TTL. It has nothing to do by itself. It's just a dumb flash. It follows what camera commands. Now we have next scenario. Next scenario is, now we have moonlight. This is moon. Same model. Okay. Now I'm trying to make a camera. Alright. And this is a sensor. And this is a flash. Okay. Same thing. Same scenario. But this time it's night. This is moon. Okay. You are shooting a moon using a flash in this kind of scenario. And you are dialing this EXIF data. 1/50th of a second. ISO, let's say 1600. F 1.8. Okay. This is the thing. Alright. Flash, you fire again. 0, and by the way, plus minus 0 EV. Flash exposure, there is no flash exposure, 0. Okay. So same thing happened. You press the camera shutter. Flash fires. In TTL. Flash fires. It goes model here and to the sensor, to the scene, through the lens onto the sensor. Again, the camera take this exposure and it measures. Oh, it's dark. So I will tell the flash to increase the power. Alright. So what it's going to do, again, it takes these reflected values, also this dialed EXIF data, alright, into a blender and mix it. It mixes these values, it comes up with certain calculation, and again it tells the flash two things. Again the same two things. What they are? Power and timing. So it tells the flash that, hey, I observe the scene. The scene is dark. Okay? So what you have to do, you have to increase power because it's dark outside. And this idiot, that photographer, dialed these kind of values: 1/50th of the second, 1600 ISO, 1.8. I calculated based on these values, and then I think you have to increase power because it's dark out there. His ISO is not enough, even though his aperture is 1.8, but shutter speed is still quite kind of a high compared to the dark night. So flash, observe, flash. Alright, sir, whatever you are saying, I will obey. I am going to increase the power and I will fire at this point of time. So flash, fire the final exposure. Bam! On the model. You see the result. It's blown out. It's overexposed. Because TTL function telling the camera to increase the flash power because it's dark outside. You see the shot, you say, well, damn, it's blown. Let me dial negative 2 EV for properly exposing the subject. So you dial these two values, you fire again. Same thing happened. This reflects, rays reflected back, sensor observe the value. It mixes the value of the reflected measured reading with the data, except data that you dial in. But this time, you are dialing -2 EV, so it takes this additional value as well into the calculation. And it says, well, flash, listen to me. This idiot outside, this time he's adding -2. So you have to reduce the power twice. Don't increase. That idiot outside is telling me that don't increase the power. So you have to reduce power. So the power this time is going to be reduced. And flash, fire, flash observes. Alright, sir, I will reduce the power of the flash. Again, final exposure happens. Reflected back, model properly exposed. Voila. So problem solved. It is as simple as that. So the thing is, the TTL is not the function of the flash. The TTL is not the function of the flash. In these kind of modes, we are changing the different modes: manual mode, repeating flash, TTL, aperture, and all this. Manual. Most of the people shot in manual mode because it's constant, and then once it's constant value, then you have to adjust the distance of the flash with the subject in order to get. But this thing causes you to go back and forth to the flash and move the flash back and forth. What TTL does is you don't have to do this thing. You don't have to go to the flash and do this thing. You don't have to go it. What simply you have to do, put the flash in remote mode. Just simple in remote. So whatever in remote mode, flash just follow whatever camera is going to tell the flash. It is as simple as that. Let me show you how. Wait. This is Nikon D700. I use its pop-up flash, this pop-up flash. To trigger this. So I go to this menu, this pencil menu. In this pencil menu, I go to E, bracketing and flash. In bracketing flash, I use this E3 flash control for built-in flash. So what it does, I selected this command mode. In commander mode, I have groups which I can control different flashes in different groups, which is maximum 2. And in the mode, there are 3: built-in flash, group A, group B. So I dial negative. It means that I don't want the built-in flash to be used as a main exposure, but it will fire. This thing will fire, but not as a main exposure. So I put the group A TTL, and over here I can use a aperture, manual, nothing, TTL. In TTL I can dial anything, any value, up to +3 or -3 and up to +3 in TTL. If I go manual mode, I can adjust the power manually. Full power, that's half, using third stop, quarter, 8, 16, 32, 64, up to 128. So even I can control this flash through this, and I don't have to go to the flash to adjust the power. So this is how easy the function of this. Using this menu, I can control the flash in TTL. Now you may say, I can basically I don't have to go to the flash, and I can still dial. Like for example, you can use the manual mode and you can adjust the power manually. Yes, you can do it. In remote mode you can do it. You see this remote? That's remote. See? So yeah, you can do it. That's not a problem. The standard practice is in TTL, most of the time I don't have to worry about what will be my final exposure is. The TTL works most of the time for me. Alright, so Sarfraz is saying something which I will look into that and I will reply accordingly. So this is the class about how TTL works. It's very easy, and it's going to solve a lot of your problem. So the TTL is not the function of the flash, it's the function of the camera. I hope you got this, and we'll see you in some other time. Take care and stay safe. Bye.